Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson. This is the Warm Down Podcast. It's a Q&A section. This is part 2. You can go and check out part 1 in the description below, and where me and Geordie talk all about football. This is the fucking weird one. So we asked on Twitter and we've asked on Reddit for your questions, and you've delivered in pretty expected fashion, to be honest. Are you ready for this to get weird, mate?
Oh, mate, I live in the weird zone, mate. That's all I'm used to with these fuckers.
Alright, we're going to go. Do you know what? Dean MUFC's got a pretty good question to start it off with. It's in the sane realm. It's a good question. We'll go with this one before we go off-road. Who's been your favourite podcast guest so far, and who would you ultimately like to have on in the future? And I think I already know.
So I won't say a favourite because, like, you know, you're grateful for them all. But the one who sort of impacted us the most, like, where I can honestly sit back and look and say, since I met this guy, I've been a different human being, was Nick Yaris, who
Absolutely.
23 years on death row. It was more the way he spoke. It made us sort of realise, hold on a second, you don't have to sort of speak a certain way to get your point across. And also I was just a little bit too concerned before then with trying to be entertaining and trying to have a laugh all the time. And it was one of the more first serious podcasts we've done. And then after that, I was like, all right, I quite like that. I'd like to do more things with people like him who've got a real story. Not that I don't want more YouTubers on there, but like it's good to mix it up and get people from all walks of life. So I would say he was the one who sort of made the biggest difference to me personally. I
usually watch your podcast on YouTube because it's on iTunes and YouTube in it. So I usually watch them on YouTube, and I listened to the Nick Yaris one as I was picking up a desk in Derby. So it was a long fucking drive, but the whole way I was just like, oh my fucking god, the way he's talking about fucking loving people that fucking hate you and all that lot. I'm still not fucking mentally mature enough to really get that round my head, I don't think. But yeah. I respect everything he was saying, and what a fucking guy, and what a podcast. If you've not listened to that one in particular, I agree with Geordie. I knew he was going to say that one. And the second part of Dean's question, who's the ultimate guest you'd like to have on in the future? And I think I know who that is as well.
It would probably be... There's a lot, but I'd probably have to say Joe Rogan would be the one to get on.
That's what I was thinking.
Because I've sort of learned a lot from him, but like other than him, because he's like the godfather of podcasting, you know, there's a few other people out there. But
Shearer, that must have been a big request guest for you.
Yeah, I think that might be a possibility actually. I'm hearing rumblings like, but. Maybe like some music artists who I like listening to and things like that, but Ricky Gervais, someone like that. But yeah, Rogan, I'd like to have a chat with Rogan about podcasting, because the thing is about Rogan, he is probably on a genius level of intelligence. Like in terms of, while his guests are thinking, talking to him, he's thinking about where he's going to take it, and he's just fucking great at conversation, and there's a reason why he's nearly at 1,000 fucking podcasts. Do you know what I mean?
3 hour long every fucking time as well. 4 a week.
Yeah, and to make a career out of having conversations with these people, and I mean, he's done over 1,000 if you include all the fight companions and that. And the reason being is because he has just got a thirst for knowledge, and he's always learning. He's the type of bloke. You're never sitting around doing out. He's always getting himself out there and living life, and I think that's what makes him someone who you can watch over and over and over again. You never really get bored.
Mate. I love his podcast. It's my number one. Him and Bill Burr are my number fucking 1 and 2. But how the fuck does he do it all in a day? Because if he's doing 2 3 hour podcasts in a day, and he blasts a workout in every day, and he's writing comedy, and fucking going performing comedy as well, like, how many hours does this motherfucker have in a day? Oh, and he does archery for about 3 hours every day as well. Yeah. And jiu-jitsu, like... excuse me, sir, I only have 24 hours. Where the fuck are you getting all this extra time for?
He's always grown as a bloke. He's one of these who's, to the day that bloke dies, he is going to be like, you know how a lot of people, they just hit a certain age and that's who they are for the rest of their life. And we're all guilty of putting ourselves on pause. That motherfucker, he will be growing from 65 to 75 to 85. He's always going to be developing, and that's what I respect of him. I mean, he's made me up my game. Like on an average podcast day, I'll get the train to London. I'll do like 7 hours of podcasts in one day. Like literally, like he's made me realise what's fucking possible. So just to have a chat with him and learn from him would be fucking mint.
I'll talk to you off camera, but I might be able to hook it up for you. I'm not going to tell you how on this, but I'll talk to you off camera.
No
Next question. Who benches more in the gym?
Who?
Me or you?
I
no
don't know
fucking
what
comment.
rep max is.
I'm 140, which I reckon you probably do warming up.
On me gym video, I banged out 180 for 8 or something like that. I think it was 7 or 8, something like that. And that was like a pretty good day because when the camera's on you, I was like,
like, oh shit.
Yeah. Afterwards, I was like, fuck me. I felt like, because I don't know, that it's just the pressure's on you a bit more because you want to put out one of your best reps. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that was one of my better ones, I would say. Like,
that's a lot of fucking person. That's what's 90 kilogram? That's like a 12, 13 stone guy in each hand, isn't it?
90 kilograms is like 14 and a half stone. So yeah, that's like, well, yeah, 30 stone or something like that.
Fucking Christ. Yeah. So yeah, Geordie wins that one. Do you think how are you going to get on in the Premier League? We've already spoke about that one, so I'll move on to the next one. And your expectations. Mughal says, why don't crap or mid-table teams get more youth through the door after becoming stable like Stoke and West Brom? And why are Arsenal fans so deluded?
The youth through the door one. I mean, to be honest, I think the problem is getting experience. And Pep Guardiola touched on that today, and he was like, the youth teams, they're not competing. They're not doing what youth teams are doing in Spain and Germany and that. So what's happening is we're turning out lame, tame fucking young players. Like, unless they do what a Dele Alli does and go and play down the leagues like Harry Kane did, they're not going to be up to the standard. And I think a lot of people are just rotten in the reserves. The
under-23 league is vanilla as fuck. These are players that have played fucking 15 years playing against each other. So, United under-8s mostly going to be United under-9s, and they're going to play against Liverpool under-8s, who are going to be Liverpool under-9s, and by the time you get to fucking under-15s and 16s, it's still the same players. They might have moved clubs a little bit, but it's the same players playing the same style. They don't get dragged out of the comfort zone. That's why I really supported the B team, the under-23s going into the Johnson's Paint Trophy, and I know that caused a massive stink, but I think that's the sort of thing that needs to happen. I think is playing.
Well, look, Harry Kane, mate. That cunt fucking tried his trade everywhere. He's been all over the shop and it's paid off. So if you're a young player, that's what you should be trying to replicate. Get yourself out.
If you had to go on a road trip with 3 members of your team, who would you choose?
Of me team? What team? What, Newcastle?
I'm assuming Newcastle, yeah. Unless you've got a makeup lady for this.
Alexander Mitrovic would be the first name on the fucking team sheet because he's mental. Probably Lascelles. You need the captain. And maybe Doro the keeper, because safe pair of hands when I'm falling all over the shop at the end of the night and he can pick us up off the floor.
We did say road trip, not on the piss.
Yeah, well, to me, it's always on the piss.
Favourite old school rap groups?
All right, well, classic NWA have got to be in there for a start. To be honest, I mean, old school rappers, I love 90s rap music. So, like, right now, I'll say I'm still listening in my car to, like, Dr. Dre, like, Chronic 1 and 2. Anything like that. Tupac, every album he's done. I love old school rap music, to be honest. I can talk all day about it. Do you like it, mate? I
do, mate, yeah. I'm into my old school rap. Nothing past about 90-9, I don't think, in terms of rap. Yeah. I'm still listening to Stone Roses and Oasis on a daily basis as well. New music, what's that? Is that a remix of a fucking...
2005 is about as far as I can go, to be honest, mate.
How often do you want to slap Lawrence for being a pseudo-academic wanker?
Not as much as people think, to be honest. It's very rare he actually really winds us up, and usually it's off camera where I want to slap him more than any. But most of the time, when he's being his usual little button-in self, I just laugh at it. That's what I wanted him on the podcast for. Do you know what I mean?
Is he your Brian?
What do you mean?
Brian off the old Rogan podcast.
Oh yeah, no, he's like.
He's better than Brian, actually. He's a lot better than Brian.
I tell you. For me, it wouldn't be the same without him, and I respect and appreciate that about him. But yeah, occasionally, if he does not know when to shut the fuck up, that's a fair point.
You do need someone that fucking challenges you as well, though. You don't want someone who's just going to be fucking, I agree with everything you say.
Yeah, well, I mean, if I'd done that kind of podcast, it would have gotten old pretty quick. I think it's good to have someone, and actually, it's funny because since meeting Lawrence and that, and when you're constantly talking for hours on end with someone as sharp as that cunt, when you get into a random argument, say you're in a fucking Morrison's car park or whatever, you're just ready.
This feels real. This feels like there's a story to be told here about Morrison's car parks.
I'm just saying, like, where, well, yeah, one time, but wherever, do you know what I mean? He's, and another thing is, because he's so clever and annoying, he's sort of arguing with other people after arguing with him for fun for hours on a weekend. It just makes it pretty easy.
Would you rather win a debut fight in the UFC or score on your debut for Newcastle?
Score for Newcastle.
I think there's something different about scoring a goal. It's that single moment of release. Although, I think a lot of the time, fight celebrations is relief that you didn't fucking lose in your underpants.
Yeah. I would say I like fighting more than football as a sport. I prefer MMA to football. But all those years of watching Newcastle and celebrating them scoring, all of that, and you know, celebrating in front of your people, that's just... If you ask us, would I rather be a fighter or a footballer, I'd say fighter, but if I could only have one of those moments, it would be the goal.
You used to do MMA, don't you? I think you've stopped now just to concentrate on your weightlifting, haven't you?
Yeah, I've trained in that, but you know, I wouldn't exactly call myself fucking Cain Velasquez or out like that. You know what I mean? I just enjoy it.
What was your style? Did you just mix it up, do a little bit of kickboxing?
I'm a black belt barroom brawler, mate. Oh, yeah. but no, it's more just obviously, you know, I like wrestling because I'm just naturally good at picking people up and throwing them around. But my favourite thing is just sparring, stand up fighting. My whole dad side of my family were always boxers, and I think I'm just a bit natural at timing punches and that. But I just like having a good punch up. Do you know what I mean? Providing that it's good fun and that. I don't try and hurt people when you're actually sparring with them, but it's a good laugh when you're with one of your mates and that.
I don't do any sparring at all now. I just do pads because I'm sick of getting punched in the head, man. I've got not got enough brain cells to lose by fucking getting drilled for no reason. Why am I sparring? What am I doing that for? I do roll quite a bit still, but I prefer jits, and I would love to think that I could do jits into my 50s and 60s, to be honest, because it's not a powerful, explosive maneuver, and it's fun as fuck. Your old mate Dan Hardy's back in the cage, isn't it? Or he's looking at booking a fight, coming back.
Yeah, interviewed him a couple of months ago, and he said basically he'd been given the all clear, and now I think they've just announced that he's going to book a fight any day now, hopefully. And he was a fucking really, really nice bloke, like off camera as well. He was like, if you ever need us to try and hook you up with any fighters, let us know.
Fucking brilliant.
Absolutely sound bloke, and yeah, I think he was one of the ones I fanboyed for, like, out of everyone, because I was like, I genuinely loved watching that cunt fight.
Mate, he's a UK MMA icon, proper fucking.
And I clicked with him more than I did Bisping, because Bisping makes us laugh, and Bisping's got the heart of a fucking champion. But at times you think, oh, you're a bit of a knob at times, like, you know what I mean? Whereas Dan was a bit of a knob, but he was someone you could root for a bit more.
Yeah, I interviewed Dan for Sport Bible at Bama recently. I think he's fucking great, and he's one that I grew up watching as well. Latterly in Cage Warriors and then his UFC career, and I completely fucking clouded out and thought he was going to beat GSP. That was one of the most fucking bananas things that I ever fucking thought. But I believed. I was completely fucking deluded. Let's throw up the next ones. Let's see what we got. What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you?
I'm quite hard to embarrass. I mean, one thing that happened once was when I was 18. I had a girlfriend, and you know, you meet the parents for the first time. So I thought, want to make a good impression. So I walks in, and they're all sat down having like dinner. It was around Christmas time as well, so they're all sat down eating away, and I'm sitting there talking for about half an hour. But I'm stood up talking to the girlfriend and that, and right at the end, our brother looks at us and goes, "Joe, by the way, you've had your fly down the whole fucking time." And luckily, the boxers were firmly buttoned. Otherwise, there would have been an extra sausage at the fucking table, like, you know. But that was one thing that happened once that I felt a bit daft, like.
Yeah, I'm pretty hard to embarrass as well. I do a lot of stupid shit, but I don't generally care. Back on fighting, David Brent 23 says, "Who's the greatest UFC fighter of all time?"
Anderson Silva for me. I think when you consider who he's beaten, moved up the weight class, moved down, he's the way he's beaten people, how many title defenses he had, and who he had them against. I just think he's number one. But you know, maybe John Jones at the end of the day. We'll see.
Yeah, I also would put. For me, it's Anderson, but I'd throw into the mix John Jones, DJ, and GSP as well. I think GSP in that killer of a division. People say, "Oh, he should have got more finishes." Fuck you, he won the fights. That's all you're there to do.
GSP. People, I probably don't give him the credit he deserves because of the way. I wasn't a fan of the way he fought, but you know, you kind of knock what he did. Like, to be fair to him, DJ, I still think he's had too many easy fights, and when we're looking at making the TJ Dillashaw fight and the fact that he's wanting to back out of it, that really not a good look for me. Like, I'm not impressed with that.
If he moved up and bitch slapped TJ Dillashaw and can then maybe go and do something in that 135-pound division, I think he probably, if he, you know, did.
TJ is actually talking about moving down.
What, to 115?
To one, it's 125.
Sorry, TJ. I thought you said DJ.
TJ is actually talking about moving down to fight DJ Mighty Mouse, and Mighty Mouse doesn't want to fight him for his 11th title defense.
He's got to move up, I think, which is a shame because you should really be able to just stay in your lane and clean up and be considered great.
But even then, he can have his 11th title defense against TJ Dillashaw at that weight, and he doesn't want to fight him. He'd rather fight the other guy who no one's ever fucking heard of. Like, to me, you're complaining you're not getting big money fights, mate. You're complaining you're not classed as the greatest.
One. Dillashaw
is the biggest name he's ever fought other than Dominic Cruz, and Dominic Cruz beat him. So it just really like, I can't imagine Anderson Silva ignoring the Chael Sonnen fight or John Jones ignoring the Cormier fight. And for right now, that is Mighty Mouse's one of those fights. That's his big name, and he's walking away from it. It's not impressive. Like,
Floyd versus Conor. Discuss.
Fucks. What do you reckon, mate?
I reckon people get this twisted, right? Because I say there is a chance, but I'm talking of a 1 in 100 chance. Right, that means, for the thick, that means 99 times this fight plays out, it's Floyd, probably by decision, because that's his game. There's a fucking puncher chance. You're talking about a significantly bigger human being, and there's weight classes for a reason, in Conor McGregor. He's also a fight nerd that is obsessed with the game, and if you think that he's going to come to this just to get bitch slapped and then take his money, you're wrong. I don't think Conor takes this fight without him believing himself, whether he's wrong or not. I think Conor believes himself that he can beat Floyd Mayweather. Otherwise, I don't think he comes to the table in this, regardless of the money involved. I think he thinks he's got away. And I think those first 2-3 rounds, I think Conor's just got to fucking go at him, and he's got to try and put that left hand on him as much as possible. You've got reach, you've got the southpaw factor, you've got the... Conor might feint kicks. He might feint kicks at him. He might fucking pretend to throw elbows at him just to get inside his head, because that's what he's very good at. He's going to do some weird shit.
Well, let's not forget the age as well, mate. There's a big age gap.
Yeah, I mean, Floyd's fought a long, long time, but age gets everybody in the end.
What does age take first? Age takes the reflexes first and the power last. And Mayweather's got no power for a start. And once his reflexes go, that's his main weapon. His main weapon's always been reflexes to slip punches. And I'm not saying they're going to go, but it's definitely a factor.
Age is a factor, and people are refusing to believe it. You've also got ring rust. Now, this isn't a guy that gets out of shape at all. He's in phenomenal shape, trains year-round. But when you look how active Conor McGregor's been over the last few years, fighting at the very, very highest level and delivering every single time, mostly with finishes, he's going to come up against a Floyd Mayweather who is at the end of his career. And I just think the way Conor McGregor's life's gone, I can see him fucking beating him. And if he doesn't beat him, I can see him taking him to a decision and then talking mad shit about it forever. Because he's like, oh, you come to my sport, I'm putting you away inside 60 seconds. I've just gone fucking 36 minutes with you. And look at my fucking pretty little face. You've done nothing to me. I'll fuck you up. And I think McGregor would spin it into that he won even if he lost. If he doesn't get knocked out.
I completely agree with what you've said there. Right, so my feelings on the fight, for a start, I'm not even going to deny it. I fucking hate Floyd Mayweather. I cannot fucking stand the cunt. Everything about fighting that I love about fighting, the reason I like fighting more than football is it's about being competitive. It's about going out there and dominating someone else and literally beating the fuck out of them. When I watch a fight, I want to watch one man beat the fuck out of another man. Like, that's what I'm tuning in for. And people might say I'm a fucking Neanderthal for that. I don't care. That's what I want to see. Do you know, if I wanted competition and technique, I admire that about fighting, but I like football for that. I want to see someone beat the fuck out of someone else. Floyd Mayweather never beats the fuck out of anyone. His thing is running and not being hit.
Pretty Boy Mayweather used to beat people up. When he changed his name to Money, he changed.
So, but for the last 10 years, the man that we've known, other than the Ortiz knockout, which was a sucker punch, let's be honest, the last person he knocked out was Ricky Hatton, for Christ's sake, and that was
and the referee completely fucked Ricky Hatton in that fight.
Mate, that was a disgraceful refereeing performance. But anyway, the point is, what I love about fighting is the opposite of what Floyd Mayweather is. And I respect that he's the greatest defensive boxer of all time, arguably. But what I love about fighting is what Conor McGregor does. He goes out there, he goes straight for the fucking kill, and he goes in for it. And like you're saying, this is a funny thing to say, and some people might say it makes no sense, but with the way Conor McGregor's life's gone, and how many times people have wrote him off and wrote him off and wrote him off, I'm going to have 2 belts. Mate, you haven't even got one. You live in fucking Dublin. You haven't even had your fight in the UFC yet. I'm going to be a 2-weight world champion. The fact that he went on and did that, if anyone can do it, it's somebody like a Conor McGregor who would come from nowhere. Now, logic says it's going to be a Mayweather win. Obviously, you'd put everything you own on that.
Absolutely.
But I'm with you, actually. For me, as an MMA fan, more than a boxing fan, even though I love boxing, I think a decision for Mayweather is, in a way, a win for McGregor. Because if you stepped in the octagon with McGregor, he'll fucking kill you. You might actually die. Whereas if you can go 36 minutes with Mayweather, that is massive for MMA. That then forces every boxing fan who is still left discounting MMA as a silly sport to say, our lad, 0-0 boxer, has gone in with the greatest of all time and went to decision, mate. Like that.
There'll be a highlight reel of him wobbling him as well, I'm sure. Yeah. He's going to tag him in 36 minutes. He's going to land one. That's what you got to think, man. My
issue with the fight, so there's a few things, is cardiovascular wise, I worry about McGregor because he is a power guy. The bigger gloves, those things. I don't see Mayweather finishing him, but if McGregor gasses, then that might happen. But the thing about McGregor that really does pay for him is his reflexes are likely going to be quicker than Mayweather's. The length is a big deal, and he is very good at timing people and landing that left hand. Very, very good at it. And without the worry of a takedown, he can really get close to you. So, I mean, 99%...
All these sparring videos too, man. These sparring videos that are coming out of of McGregor's camp, he's allowing them to come out. All of these videos of him looking shit. Think about how clever he's been in every other thing that he's done in his life. He's never letting these sparring videos of him looking shit come out without a reason for it. There's a reason them videos are out there. And you're not seeing what he's doing on a day-to-day basis. You're not seeing all of the different little tricks. Do you know what I was going to tweet during the Joshua fight? And I thought, I just can't be arsed dealing with the fucking idiots that are going to misinterpret what I'm saying. But I was going to tweet, Conor McGregor's a better technical boxer than Anthony Joshua.
He is?
He is, yeah. And I'm going to have to back it up because people in the comments right now have just gone fucking bananas. But on a pure
That's not a knock on Joshua. Joshua is a heavyweight. It's very, very difficult to replicate that kind of technique at a massive weight. That's why someone like Tyson Fury is so underrated in my book, because he's an amazing technical boxer. And he doesn't get the credit he deserves, probably because he's an arsehole, but I quite like him.
Yeah, I think McGregor, if you watch some of the breakdown videos which show you some of the really technical punches that McGregor throws, they're technically perfect. And what Joshua is a fucking specimen of a man who I fucking think's great for heavyweight boxing. But when you look at what he's throwing, they're not technically perfect. They're just big clubbing, winging punches.
They're very ABC basic boxing shots. And I mean, if you want to talk about that, for me, the fact that Klitschko gave him as many problems as he did, and Klitschko's an intelligent fighter, but he doesn't throw a multitude of shots, loads of different kinds of punches. He's quite basic himself. And for Klitschko to give Joshua the kind of problems he did, I would love Tyson Fury to be fully fit and go in there against Anthony Joshua, because I think that would be really interesting. Like,
just going to pull up the questions off the Twitter. But yeah, I agree, and I think long term, because he's still very young, long term Joshua's going to be a problem. But I think when you look back at some of the heydays of boxing, you look at, people don't realise how technical Mike Tyson was. He was a phenomenal technical boxer, phenomenal defensive boxer as well. Mike Tyson for me is greatest of all time. A lot of people.
I think. Yeah, some people would look at the physique of Joshua and think, oh well, he looks like Tyson. He must, like, in terms of how muscular he is. But yeah, Tyson was 10 times the boxer that Joshua is right now. That's not Joshua, because I really admire it. And actually, one thing I really did admire was the way he got the fuck up after being chinned on the floor and dealt with it. And because I looked at him, I thought, all right, you look fucking brilliant. You look like a massive man, but what's going to happen when he gets clipped? Like, how's he going to react to it? And I thought he handled it brilliantly. And I want him to go on and become one of the greatest of all time. But yeah, he's overrated right now in terms of his boxing technical skills.
Right, it's back on football with one of the Twitter questions. Which Manchester United player have you always had admiration for?
That's an interesting one. Probably say Paul Scholes, to be honest. Just other than tackling, he could do it all. And actually, probably one of my favourite pundits as well. I think he's like the Carl Pilkington of punditry.
Brutal.
I
just
fucking love it.
There's no fat in anything that he says. He's just like, yeah, that was great. That was shit.
He would be my number one choice of pundit to watch. He's hilarious.
Would you ever consider doing a fight companion podcast for the UFCs? He was supposed to be coming on ours, actually, but I think he fell asleep for one of the recent ones.
I think I'm going to do the odd one, but probably just for the big ones.
Yeah, they're a fucking graft, man, because you end up speaking for 3 hours. You don't want any of the air to go dead, so you just kind of just fucking constantly on send. It's hard graft.
Doing a podcast is a bit like that in general, so I think I could enjoy that, but I'll have to do it for the big fights, and I'd rather it be more like the Rogan style setup if I could. So get like a couple of lads down in the studio in London and do it like
I've got an idea. We talk about this off camera if you want, but what do you want to do for the Mayweather and McGregor one? I think that would probably be worth doing, actually.
Oh, I think there'll be a few people doing them. Like, why not? I'll be doing something for it.
Sorted. Any plans for a second football holiday?
I think I'm going to do another one. If not football, I think I'll just do more travel vlogs like that. I've mentioned it on the podcast lately. I might do an MMA holiday, like where I go to see a few MMA fights, and also I think I might do safari as well.
Geordie on safari. Only if you wear one of those pith hats and the little safari gear.
Mate, I hope I survived, because I think it was yesterday some poor woman who worked in the zoo got fucking bitten by a tiger and killed.
Tigers eat people.
But what made me giggle a little bit is the poor woman had died. Obviously, I felt sorry for her, but then they said it was a terrible accident, and I thought, if a tiger is ever in a position to sink its teeth into you, there's no accidental about that tiger biting you. Like this, if anything, it's the most natural, normal thing to happen on planet Earth is for a tiger to kill another animal. Really,
that's kind of what tigers do. Tiger went tiger. He didn't go wrong.
Yeah,
he didn't do fucking crazy. He went tiger.
Exactly.
If you was going to do an MMA one, what you could do is you could go Vegas, catch a fight, Especially if you go for the July ones when it's International Fight Week. There's loads of like seminars and stuff on during the day, and I think people would fucking love, even if it's just, you know, going hitting the pads off for a roll. There's so many gyms in Vegas. Extreme Couture, I know a few people there. I could probably hook you up, go and have a roll at Extreme Couture. Like obviously Misa Tate's there as well. Go and hit the fucking pads with
I'll have a roll with her.
I think that'd be a fucking cracker of a vlog, yeah, man. I think that'll wrap us up. So, Geordie, thank you very much, mate. Is there anything you need to plug?
No, mate.
Channel?
Just appreciate you having us on, and hopefully everyone enjoyed the chat.
I hope they do as well. Any suggestions for the next ones that you want to see coming on here? Get your suggestions in the comments below. Go follow Geordie on Twitter and give him a subscribe if you've not already. I don't know how you found me and didn't find that motherfucker on Twitter. But thank you to Geordie. Thanks to you guys for checking this out. Subscribe. There's a youth review coming out tomorrow, I think, so keep an eye on that one. It's going to be player profiles all over the summer, talking about some of the newly promoted players at United's Academy. Thank you for watching. See you in a bit.